I'm at the Caverns of Sonora in Sonora, Texas. I'm gonna go do a hike down into the big caves. They've got like geodes down there and stalactites. Anyway, it's gonna be cool. Not the biggest fan of going underground or underwater, but it'll be fun.
The cave is completely covered on the inside with calcite. There's not any limestone that's exposed unless they put a trail and cut down through the limestone. Okay, there's a photograph of the natural entrance. That photograph was taken in 1955. The entrance was discovered in 1905 or somewhere around there. You know, they don't have the exact date, just the turn of the century. The story we get is the dog chased some type of an animal to the opening. They put a rock over it because, you know, that'd be the best thing to do, is put a rock on it so the livestock couldn't step in it or somebody would find it, you know.
What are you seeing?
Where are you singing?
This is the pit that I was talking about earlier. Gravity creates a little bit of pressure, just enough pressure to force the water out of the limestone and make it bead, not drop. So pressure to make it bead, not drop. See, if you've got 100 feet of limestone above this, and it's all saturated with water, gravity is creating that pressure. It's enough to make it above. The green, they know. Water going through the topsoil picks up color just like we're making tea or coffee. Sometimes just through the limestone if it's poor. Stomach aches. We can mix it with water and drink it. Calcium, carbon dioxide, and magnesium. So milk of magnesium.
Well, I have to say I was really impressed with the tunnels. I got a little bit of anxiety, a little claustrophobia in some of the parts, especially at the beginning when I'm like, oh my god, we're gonna be in for like an hour and a half longer. But it was really beautiful, really worthwhile. The great thing about this park, it's right off the 10. It's like 3 miles off the 10. So if you're traveling from San Antonio to Albuquerque, or not even Albuquerque, just to New Mexico along the 10, it's a great place to stop. And they have an RV right on site. So the same place that you buy your RV spot, you also buy the guided tour. It's like all in walking distance. So that was really convenient to have them very close together. The park's pretty cool because there's a ton of kind of like tamed wild deer, and they all go feed in the evening. And Chase and Pearl are just absolutely loving the wild deer, peacocks, and a bunch of birds. Really nice. So I'm in a little bit of a bind because we got here, it's only 3 miles off the highway, but we're very remote. And one, because we're remote, there's not many gas stations around, and then two, I can't get any signal on my phone to look for like the closest gas station, because I also need DEF fluid, so I don't know if a regular gas station would sell that. I mean, I just want to know that I can get diesel wherever we stop. So I'm trying to open up Gas Buddy to see where they are, and it's like no signal. I can't open it.
No, not till Ozona. If you don't want to drive that far, it's closer to go to the right. Once you get on I-10 and go back a few miles.
Are you all right going backward a few miles, or do you want to wait here at this exit for me? Anyway, that's something that I need to keep in mind. For example, we should have got gas before going to the RV park last night, because this morning we had to backtrack about 11 miles. So that's the same thing that happened when we left San Antonio. We're all ready to go that morning, and I go to feed the dogs, and my scoop touches the bottom of the bin. I'm like, oh my goodness. And I don't change dog foods. I always get the same one. It's one particular one that I get at Costco. And I thought, we are not gonna run into Costco. So I had to drive 21 miles into town, into San Antonio, and 21 miles back. And this is the morning that we're trying to get out of there early. So if you have to get gas at these big gas stations, like where the semis go, you have to pay inside. You can't pay at the pump like you can when you get regular gas or diesel just in the drive-thrus. You gotta pay inside. And then what's convenient is they also have DEF right at the pump too. What I have found though, and I heard there was a controversy with, I think it was Love's, I can't remember. And I don't know if it's legal, but it happens. The gas, the diesel at the pumps for the semi-trucks is sometimes more expensive than diesel if you go through, you know, just the regular gas station area. So I don't know if that's legal. I know there was a controversy, but I did find that at a Valero in Denton, it was Valero in Denton, Texas. Their semi side was like 10 cents more expensive than the regular side. Also, I don't know if these work the same way, but I have just spilled a ton of diesel. It doesn't turn off automatically. I got it all over my hand as well. So on the way to Marfa, we've had 2 nights that are just single nights where you stay overnight. And in general, I really hate that because it just makes the whole lifestyle just driving. So the only time that I really will accept staying one night at wherever is if we only go like about 200 miles and get there at like, you know, between 1 and 3. Otherwise, it's just like on the road, on the road, on the road. And I don't really like that, you know. For me, it's a lifestyle, so I want to have some living time. So anyway, we're trying to get to Marfa because it's getting hot around here. And we are stopping just a couple nights along the way where there's not much going on. Anyway, that's my recommendation for if you're traveling and you want to feel like, you know, you're actually living the lifestyle and not racing, is to stay longer in each location. And 2 nights is nice because then you have the next day. For me, I work, so I need time to like sit down and get on my computer. And I mean, if you're retired or you don't work, it's maybe not that big of a deal to just be driving and traveling all the time. So anyway, that is my 2 cents. So yeah, single nights, I love to try to keep the truck hooked up. It saves so much time in the morning. So I try to get a pull-through spot at an RV park. And if it's 2 nights or more, which is always ideal, I can unhook the truck. It doesn't seem like such a waste of time to hook it up and unhook it. And that way I can also go run errands and I can go grocery shopping. But most ideal is to stay 1 to 3 weeks because then I can really get to know the area. I can get a lot of work done. I don't feel like I'm behind on anything, and just live life. Well, for dinner tonight, I am having shrimp cocktail, a bunch of shrimp with pepper on it and the cocktail sauce. My favorite salad, which is arugula, olive oil, pink Himalayan salt, and Gruyere, and a bunch of cut up watermelon. I'm not gonna eat all this watermelon, but sometimes I could, but no, that's how I have it in the refrigerator. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys giving a thumbs up, subscribing, and all that. So thank you so much, and we'll see you next time.